All right, we are now live on YouTube, and we're going to get started. First and foremost, I just want to say welcome everybody to UPBCA First Shop Talk with UPBCA. We have some very special guests with us on this evening. My name is Willie Lightfoot. I am the president of the United Professional Barbers and Cosmetologists Association. We're welcoming all of you here this evening. Joining with us today, before we start our presentation, we just want to hear a quick few opening statements, maybe from our guests today. We have with us our esteemed Mayor Lovely Warren, who is a great friend of the United Professional Barbers and Cosmetologists Association. I believe, I'm thinking, Mayor, when we first started in 2015, you were there standing with us at Workers United when we first got associated, and you've always believed in us. You've always stood with us, and we know that you got a great stylist because you're always looking great. So we appreciate you for being here with us on this evening. And also, we also have our historic county executive with us, Adam Bello, who we're also excited to have with us on this evening as well. So before we even start my presentation, I would like to just open up the floor we'll start with, as government goes, the county is a little larger, so we'll start with the county executive first, and then we'll go down with opening statements from our county executive, and then to our esteemed mayor. County Executive Adam Bello, the floor is yours, sir.
Trouble with the mayor. I was gonna let the mayor go first. And it's really an honor and privilege, really, to be with all of you today. Willie, my friend, thank you for the invitation to be here. It's always wonderful to spend time with my colleague, Mayor Lovely Warren, and to be with all of you this evening. This is why I'll start off by saying I understand that we have all been making over the last several months since COVID-19 has impacted our community here and the coronavirus has started spreading. We have all made a number of sacrifices, and you as business owners, our residents, and people across the community. But I am confident today that there are more people who are alive today because of the sacrifices we've been making, and because of the actions that the county government, the city government, and all of our governments at from the state, the federal, down to towns and villages have been making, and because of the sacrifices. And now that we start to enter those next stages of where we are with things, as we start to enter phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, which I'm really looking forward to speaking with you about, we need to do it in a very thoughtful way. And we need to make sure that the work that we've been doing over the last couple of months not get undone because we do things unsafely or too quickly, and then turn the clock back. We want to see you open and successful as soon as possible, but we also want to make sure that it's done in a way where you can continue to stay open, and that you're protected, your colleagues are protected, your customers are all protected. And so I think that's what this is really all about. This is what the conversation I'm looking forward to having with you all here tonight. And then the other thing I'd want to just start out by doing is thanking you for your participation in taking this seriously. This is a health crisis that we've been facing over the last few months that really none of us have ever gone through in our lifetimes. Everyone's, you're sort of building the plane as you fly it, if you will. And so you taking this seriously, as well as our residents at large, is by and large why we are one of the few regions that can start to go through these opening phases when we are, and that we're doing a lot better than a lot of places around the country and around the world. So I'm looking forward to tonight's session, answering any questions that you may have about this or anything else that's facing you and your business, and particularly your ability to open here in the near future, and any support and assistance that the county can offer you. We are here to help, and we have a number of resources available that we'll talk about tonight. But we are here to help to make sure that you are successful, and that you have all the information that you need to move forward. So Thank you again, my friend, for the invitation to be here today. And Mayor Warren, always a pleasure to be with you. And we've been having a great time working together over the last several months to do what's right by our common constituents. And I think that those efforts of collaboration and coordination have paid off greatly in our community.
Absolutely, county executive. The county executive got baptized by fire. So he definitely has done a great job and has been a great partner to work with as we go through this pandemic, something that none of us have ever been through before in our lifetime, and trying to figure out what's the right path to victory for everyone. Thank you to, of course, Vice President Lightfoot, the president of the association, for inviting us to have this conversation with our barbershops and beauticians, because, I have on a hat today because, I need to get to see my beautician, and it doesn't seem like that's going to happen in a little while. I've been trying to get the county executive to talk to the governor about letting us open up in phase 1 because I need to see somebody, but that didn't happen. But we want to make sure that everyone is safe, most of all, and we want to save as many lives as possible. And that's truly what we've been working to do. We realize and recognize that things are, fluid right now and very frustrating. But we also know that we've all been, know someone that has been impacted by this virus and was able to survive. And so we know how real it is. And, I lost an uncle in New York City to this virus. And so I know for a fact that this virus, if not, does not have a respect of person, and it can take anybody's life. And that's why we are doing this the way that we're doing it, in phases, and working very, very slow at reopening. It can be frustrating at times, but we ask that you continue to bear with us. We're going to try to give you as much information as possible as we receive it, because it's not just me making a decision or the county executive making a decision. It's the governor, it's the president. There are so many layers of government that have to weigh in on what's the best way to make sure that we open safely, but we save as many lives as possible. And we need your help in doing that. And when we say we need your help in doing that, is to make sure that we are continuing to deliver the message that this virus has, even though we're in phase 1, and this has not left our community, we do not have a vaccine. We need to continue to not only maintain social distancing, but wear a mask. And also, if you can stay home, because we do recognize that this virus has had a significant impact and touched many lives. I'm thankful that you all are here to hear our concerns, to talk to us today. We are here to answer any questions that you may have, and really want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us this evening to have this very important shop talk on how we're going to reopen, and what's a safe way to reopen, and if we can be of assistance. There are different programs that we can talk about, both the county executive and I, that the city and the county government has implemented to help shop owners during this time, because we recognize that you are suffering along with us, with the loss of revenue, with the loss of income. And so we have grant programs that we have implemented in ways that we want to be of assistance to you, because our goal is for you to come out on the other side with us and be able to open up strong, with your clients coming into your shop and being serviced. So I will turn it back over to Councilmember Lightfoot. Just wanted to recognize Ronnie D, tell him, how we was praying for your son, and so happy that he put through, and Lady Davis, thank God, God is good. We definitely was pulling for your son, and glad that he was able to come out on the other side. And please tell us how he's doing when you get a chance.
Thank you, Tom.
Oh, he's doing good right now. He's
Good.
been home over about a month and a half.
Okay.
So he's good.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, County Executive Mayor. Of course, you'll be hearing again from them. I just want to give you an idea of what the agenda will be tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'll start with a very brief presentation. It's an open house. It's a conversation about reopening. And then the part two of this conversation will be about healthcare and some opportunities and information that we want to provide to you by U of R Well. Now, before I move on, I just would like to have one spokesperson from U of R Well to just introduce yourself and your team before I go into my presentation. Who's that going to be?
That can be me, Willie.
All right, Gavin.
Hi, my name's Gavin. I, along with Valentina, Trisha, and Daniel, we're all first-year medical students at University of Rochester, and we're part of a student-run clinic called UR Well. And we've started a new partnership via connection with Willie and the UPBCA. We're very excited to talk to you about later.
Thank you, Gavin. Okay, so again, you bear with me with my technical skills, but I will share with you my presentation, which hopefully everyone can see. Wade, are you unmuted so you can tell me if you're seeing this stuff or not?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir. I'm
awesome. All right, so basically, I want to go over just a little bit of an open house about UPBCA, because a lot of people may not know what we're about, who, what, where, when, and how. So we want to kind of talk to you a little bit about that on this evening. The United Professional Barbers and Cosmetologists Association was established in 2015. Tonight is our first shop talk with UPBCA that we have. We're sharing with you tonight. So let's see how we could, okay, there we go. All right. So now our agenda tonight, of course, we had our introductions, a UPBCA overview. And then we have, of course, our City of Rochester Mayor, our Monroe County Executive, U of R Well team. We'll have some questions and answers. I see some people hands that were up earlier, and I would just say to you that we're going to try to get to your questions. If you can put them in the chat, that would be great. We have some questions that we want to ask in advance, and then we're going to get to as many questions as we can, but understand that we only have the mayor and the county executive for the first half hour. But please hold on, because you're not going to want to miss the health information that we're going to be sharing with you in the second hour. So, and then we'll have our closing and our adjournment. So the UPBCA Incorporated Board of Directors, we have a 9-member board. It's myself, of course, the founder and president. Wade Davis is the vice president, owner of Wade and Me Salon. Erica Brown is the treasurer. She's a New York State cosmetologist. Dr. DJ Robinson is our media and marketing. She's also a New York State cosmetologist. Erin Young is a board member, and she's our Rochester Regional Joint board liaison. We are actually, our parent company that works with us is Workers United Rochester Regional Joint Board. Andre Morrison is a board member, owner of Andre's Barbershop. Verdina Lightfoot is a board member, New York State cosmetologist. Johnny Scott is a board member, he's a master barber, and Dr. Lauren Mentor is also a board member of our organization. We have what we're about. We're about providing education, offering an open forum for our industry professionals, advocating for our industry, promoting community involvement and community engagement, offering benefits to our members, and of course, networking and providing career opportunities. What are the current benefits we offer? Well, I'm glad you asked. We offer life insurance, a $5,000 life insurance policy, annual hearing tests, and discount prices on hearing aids. The $5,000 life insurance policy is no physical. It's literally just by becoming a member, you get a $5,000 life insurance policy. I know many of you can understand and relate with me. I'm tired of passing the hat when one of our people die in our industry. I'm tired of the GoFundMes and all of those things. You know, I know we think it's never gonna happen to us, but the reality of it is we need to be protected. We also offer legal services. Amalgamated Life is the company that we deal with, and they offer legal services, writing simple wills, rent brutal agreements, identity theft protection. We also have community outreach opportunities, networking, leadership opportunities via UPBCA listserv, job placement from ShiftDiff. We have a agreement with ShiftDiff that we also list all of our job opportunities in our particular shop. So let's say, for instance, you're a member of UPBCA and you have openings, booth openings in your particular salon, shop, or whatever. You can come to us and we can list those openings on shiftdiff.com. and help you to try to fill your positions. Continuing education, of course, is something that we're always constantly doing. State board preparation and reviewing a barber and cosmetologist. Of course, you know myself, my barbershop is one of the few New York State barber testing sites in the state of New York. I think there are 6 of them, and my shop is one of them, and here in Rochester locally. And then Wade Davis is also not only is he a school instructor for REOC, but he's also a New York State barber examiner as well. So we come with that expertise and experience, and we can help people navigate through those exams. Our membership fee, and I'm glad you asked about that too. Here's our contact information of how you can get with us. UPBCA.org is our website. info@UPBCA.org is our email. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. That's our PO box. Our membership fee is just a small $100, covers the entire year. It's annual. It's less than one haircut for the month. You know, less than $10 a month for our membership fee, which we have. Our membership fees are collected annually, and they cover all of the things that I just went over a few minutes ago. So that's pretty much the end of my presentation, and we're going to get into some questions, some prepared questions that we have for Adam Bello, County Executive Bello, and for our mayor. And they will be asked by our Vice President, Wade Davis.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for
Good evening,
coming
Wade.
in. Thank you for coming to the shop talk. Real quick, we have 4 questions that we thought were pertinent to what's happening with us in terms of our industry. So real quickly, we say, I say ladies first. So Mayor, if you would like to go first, you just let Mr. Bello know and y'all work it out, okay? First question. What does reopening for the appearance enhancement industry look like for you from your perspective?
So reopening the appearance industry looks like making sure that you have the proper PPE in order to keep yourselves and keep your patrons safe. Also, having some best practices. So when we look at what the CDC outlines, what the county health department outlines, what the state health department outlines as to what is proper. But as I said earlier, it's not a decision that I will make or even the county executive will make on our own. It is up to the governor to allow to let us know when the appearance industry can reopen, but we're going to open in a way that is safe and consistent. So we're in phase 1 right now, and hopefully the numbers will not go up significantly. And that's why getting everyone to be on board with proper social distancing and mask and all of that is so very important, because depending on how phase 1 goes, impacts when phase 2 will actually happen. And so even though we're evaluating in the health department and all the medical folks are evaluating every 14 days of after phase 1, that doesn't necessarily mean that phase 2 will happen in 14 days. It just means that we are looking at it. We're hopeful that the numbers won't go up. And the county health department is the county executive is in charge of the health department. But, he has daily calls letting us know exactly what's happening, what the numbers are. He releases those publicly. So we're all on the same page. But I just want everyone to know it's not necessarily just our decision. It is the state's decision on when the governor's decision on when he's going to allow these industries to open up. And it's going to be when we feel that is safe to do so. And we all have a role to play in that. And I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, County Exec.
No, thank you, Mayor. You just outlined it very well. We're hoping for phase 2, but each phase as you go through is going to take a couple weeks because the virus has an incubation period of a couple weeks. And so to be able to track where the health where our health conditions are as we move through the phases of opening, you have to have some time between the phases. The only thing I would just add is that, and I know there was a question that was just put out on the chat, section there about if are you required to have a plan and submit it? And I can tell you, you are required to have a plan, but you're not required to submit it as of right now. What you'll need to do is, like the mayor said, is you're going to have a plan in place to deal with proper PPE. What's going to be your masking policy? Your physical distancing policy within your shop? How are you doing sanitation and making sure things are clean between customers in your shop? And what are you going to do about health screening so that when, if you have symptoms, become sick, or anybody around you become sick, what's your plan? What do you do? And so you're going to want to have that plan. And as we get closer to launching phase 2 and getting the green light for that, the guidelines, and I see someone else just asked that as well. How are you going to prepare to open? The guidelines ideally will be posted by New York State right before phase 2 is green lighted, just like it was for phase 1. So if you go to forward.ny.gov, you can see what the guidelines are for the industries that were open in phase 1. And so each of those industries was required to create a plan that met those guidelines, and then you just certify online that you have a plan. You don't have to submit it. It doesn't get reviewed or approved, but you have to certify that you have one. And I think the expectation here is prior to the opening of phase 2, those guidelines will be posted online again for you to create that plan. So you want to watch for that, and we can work with Willie here to get that out to you as soon as that is. The mayor and I are both in the control room, so to speak. So we have those conversations every day about where we are. But I would pay very close attention to that and start thinking about your plan now. Even though the guidelines aren't posted, it's going to be common sense and probably there that it's going to involve masking, sanitation, distancing, things like that.
Thank you. We of the UPBCA are definitely in agreement that best practices, which it probably speaks to the professional doing their part. You can lay down the guidelines, but if we don't put it to use and we don't practice the things that we know that we're supposed to be doing for infection control, then it'll be for naught. So thank you for that answer. Next question. What are your thoughts on enforcement of future guidelines to the appearance enhancement industry? I guess that speaks to making sure that everybody is doing what they need to do according to the guidelines that are set forth by the governor, the city, and whatever. Yes, Mr. Lightfoot.
Yeah, so thank you, Wade. So it's one thing, Mayor and County Executive, to have guidelines. And we're going to be posting guidelines that we believe are industry standards from Barbicide on our website. But it's one thing to have guidelines. It's another thing to how are we going to enforce those guidelines?
Well, enforcement is very difficult, as you already know, from what we're experiencing right now, because our best thing that we are doing in our community is trying to educate people. And, as it pertains to the governance of the business industry, then, you have the Attorney General's office that plays a role in it, and, have been the enforcer of the businesses and their adherence to the rules and regulations that's set by the state, and also the county and the city. But the biggest thing that we can do as it pertains to enforcement is to make sure that we follow the rules and follow the guidelines. And it's a matter of trust, that we are trusting each other to do the right thing as it pertains to health and safety. We know that you want to be safe as someone that is performing the haircut or the enhancement, but you also want your customer to be safe as well. And so once we put out the governor outlines these guidelines, and you as an industry, your industry best, what it's going to take to stop the spread of the virus within your shop. And we want to be here to help with that. And so that's the reason why we have, both the county and the city have grants that are available to business owners that could possibly be used to purchase PPE. So there are certain things that are being developed right now, as far as like masks that, can go over your face, gloves, shields, other types of devices that you may want to institute in your shop. And we want to be helpful in you getting that, whether that's barbicide and other things that are cleaning supplies that you know you need, that can be utilized for, just cleaning and making sure that everything is sanitized. So we have grants that are available for that. And, you can go to www.cityofrochester.gov / coronavirus, and go to our neighborhood and business development department. And then I'll let the county executive talk about what the county has to offer. But there are a number of different programs that are out here to help small businesses be able to get the equipment that they need, so that when they open up in the safest way possible. As it pertains to enforcement, we're going to continue to, on a city side, to educate, and unless we are told by another entity. And I think that as it pertains to businesses in particular, it will have to be the AG's office or the Department of Health that actually either shuts those down or tells that business that they're not operating in a safe and efficient way.
Yeah, and I'll echo what the mayor just said. That's 100% right. I get asked this question a lot about enforcement, particularly when it comes to masking and code enforcement and things of that nature. And if you go on the state's website, there is a complaint form that can be filed, that can be filed up with the Attorney General's office, and then comes down to local code enforcement. But I'll tell you, to this point, even since the pause order started back in March, all the way up through today, I'm not aware of any local business here in the county that's been fined or a license revoked or anything like that for violation. We've had a lot of compliance here, and I think it's because there's all the education that we've been doing. We've taken an education first approach in our community that I think has worked, and I think the proof of that is in the result, in the fact that we were one of the first regions green-lighted to open when we did for one. So that approach is working. And it's also a little bit about self-policing within your industry, because you want to continue to stay open, right? And if we violate rules, sanitation and cleanliness and masking and things like that, what's going to happen is people are going to get sick. We're going to have a spike, and then we're going to have to take a step back. And nobody wants to take a step back. We've already made, like I said, far too many sacrifices point to have that undone. What I can say, though, is that in addition to some of the grant programs that the state, the federal government have, and the city of Rochester have, the Monroe County has a grant program as well, our small business assistant grant program that offers working capital grants to small businesses. And we also have trained a number of folks within our economic development department as navigators, so that they can help. They're experts that know the different grant programs that are available and how to apply for them and who qualifies for what. And so if you call our hotline at 753-5555, you up with one of those small business navigators who can help go through that program with you and help you to understand what programs you qualify for at the various levels of government.
Okay, right now we have a number of questions. We want to get to some of you guys' questions that are on the line. And we have a number of questions that are on the chat. Jess told us that Barbicide is back over to mid-June. That's not necessarily a question, it's just some information so folks can understand that. Demarius says, why aren't people being fined for not wearing their mask? And why are people being allowed to gather? That's kind of a question that I don't know is necessarily germane to this particular conversation. I don't know if you want to deal with that one, Mayor, or not.
I think that we both can, because it's not just a city issue.
It's not.
Go ahead, Cuddy.
What I'll say is this. So in the sense of, are people allowed to gather? No, large gatherings are not allowed. Is masking what's required? The answer is yes. I know it's frustrating, but I will say this, and I'll acknowledge the frustration. When you follow the rules consistently and you can look around at other people and gatherings where they're not following the rules, that can be very frustrating, because you know that there are people who are endangering not only themselves, but people around them, which is prolonging our experience here. What we have found with good success, though, really has been starting with education. When we've developed protocols and measures to be able to look at hotspots as they develop around the county, particularly at county parks that exist throughout. And then we've been able to take our educational campaign that we're partnering with the city of Rochester, partners in Napier, and some other folks in Causeway as part of that. We've been able to target our educational and promotional materials to those hotspots to make sure people understand the seriousness of what we're facing. And so I'm confident that that education first approach has been working. But I, obviously will acknowledge I'm out there with my family as well. We go for walks, we're in the parks. I walk the dog almost every day, and I'll see people gathered without their masks on. I get that. But I think the more we educate, and the more we just keep talking about this and letting people know the seriousness of it, I think we'll have success. Because I'll also say that wearing a mask and physical distancing is not just about protecting yourself, it's about protecting your community. This is what being a good citizen is all about, right? This is how we participate as citizens in our community, is to protect other people. With rights comes responsibilities, and one of our responsibilities is to protect each other. And you do that by wearing a mask. I would also point out too that we use distancing a lot, and I say it a lot too, but what we really mean by that is physical distancing. Last week, when you had Mother's Day a week ago Sunday, a week ago yesterday, a lot of people said, well, why can't I visit my mom on Mother's Day? You can. You just show her a hug. You have to just remain that 6 feet apart. I visited my mom, I visited my mother-in-law, and so did my wife and kids, but we stayed 6 feet apart. We all wore our masks, and we visited from a distance. And I wanted nothing more than to give them each a hug and wish them a happy Mother's Day. But this year that just wasn't possible, but we still visited, and you can still say hello. You can still converse and have a conversation with your neighbors. Just do it from a distance.
Okay.
Absolutely. I don't think that, I think that one of the things that we found is that the best deterrent is education. A fine, people can't be arrested for this. They would be given a ticket. And so that won't make them comply. The best thing that we can do is provide them the information that they need, as the county executive was saying, about protecting their circle. And the reason why we've engaged with social media influencers, the reason why we've done this 6 feet distancing rule, campaign, is so that we provide the information to people about how dangerous this virus can be. And the fact that, even young people can contract this virus, and it may not be deadly to them, but it can be deadly to their grandmother, someone that they love, someone that they care about. It can be deadly to their mom, especially if they have underlying conditions. And so giving them the information to say that you could be responsible for your loved one's death, I think it goes a long way than giving them a ticket and saying that you are going to have to pay this $1,000 fine. So for us, educating people, getting to them, letting them know that we need their help in protecting the circle, protecting each other, protecting our community, is what we want to do. And I think that, as the county exec indicated earlier, it's basically working here, because we were one of the first regions to start back opening. We just don't want people to have a false sense of security. And that false sense of security is like, oh, okay, so now we're in phase 1, we're getting back to normal. Well, back to normal isn't what we were before the coronavirus hit. Back to normal is a new normal. And we want people to understand that this virus is still around. It can still be deadly. And we still need to practice those things that we know are going to save lives: washing hands, wearing a mask, not, social distancing, or being 6 feet away from another person that is not in the same household as you, making sure that you stop, that you think like, okay, well, is this going to be, am I going to give this to my mom if I hug her? the likelihood if you're a carrier, because people can be carriers. They can have this virus and not get sick from it. They can, not have any symptoms, be asymptomatic, and they can be fine. And the next person, the person that you love, won't be. And so just be aware of that. Stop and think and then act. And it's up to all of us to do right by each other and make those decisions that, that we want all of us to come out of this on the other side together and stronger and better than we were before.
All right. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do, because I want to try to, we got about 15 minutes or about 20 minutes left with the county executive and the mayor. And I wasn't trying to allude to the fact that only people are only gathering in the city, but I know we catch most of it, the brunt of it. I would ask that I see a hand, Mr. Gooseby, you had your hand up. I don't know if you had a question or if you just hit that button by mistake, but if you hit the hand button or if you raise your hand, if I can see you, then I'll unmute you and you can ask your question. Mr. Gooseby, did you have a question? All right, hold on, let me unmute you, sir. Did you have a question, sir?
No.
Okay, thank you. And anybody else any questions? We got a hand, Mr. Damari, I see you. Hold on one second, sir. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I understand what everybody's saying about the education and the masks and the gloves, but there are too many people in Rochester that are either too stupid to comprehend the education or they're just too stubborn. And I don't think the education is enough.
So you want us to arrest them?
No, not arrest them. I mean, well, hey, if you're not covered up, like the governor said, you can be killing people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying arrest them, but I just don't think the education is enough because people still don't believe it, even though the facts are there. And they're still not doing it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that question, sir. We'll definitely keep looking at other opportunities and things that we can do. Jess has a question, sir. I'm unmuting you now, sir.
Thanks. I have a question about the phases. One of the things that a lot of people seem to be confused about is that when they start and the next one starts, is there a 2-week grace period after, or is it that they run together? Depending on the numbers, I understand the numbers, but the group that I run with a whole bunch of cosmetologists, they all think that, in 14 days, they're going to be able to start taking appointments if the numbers are good. But there seems to be some confusion on where does it start and stop.
Okay. If I understand your question right, once you enter a phase, there's a minimum of 2 weeks as you phase up from phase 1 to starting phase 2. But it's not necessarily 2 weeks. It can't be less than 2 weeks, but it could be more than 2 weeks before another phase is greenlit. And once you move into an additional phase, if the metrics don't get met for opening and staying open, there's several things available that the state may do. They may pause you in that phase, and then you can be there for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks before you move on again, or you may slip back. I don't think that would be a case. I would hope not, but you could conceivably slip back, and that's what the state would be determining. So that's one of the misnomers, is even though it's a minimum 2 weeks, it could take longer if you start to see a spike or a negative public health results.
And even if the numbers are good, that doesn't necessarily mean that in 14 days that we would be in phase 2. So we would have to get the clearance of the governor to say the Finger Lakes region is entering into phase 2. The numbers being good helps us enter into phase 2, but it doesn't automatically, just because our numbers are good, just lift up and say, okay, phase 2 starts on this particular date. And I know that's sort of hard for people to organize around, but it's one of those things where that's one decision that we're not leading on the ground level. It's being led from the state level. And so we have to listen to when they tell us that the second phase can open.
All right, we have
He had
iPad.
another question. I'm sorry.
Darius, is that Darius?
Jess
You said-
Sutton.
Oh, Jess. I'm sorry. You got follow up, Jess?
Yeah,
Okay.
just really quickly, I mean, I get that and I appreciate that. And that's what I've been trying to convey to them. Because some states that have opened up already have only given them 3 to 4 days notice. And that's what I've been telling them to try and follow, other states. Like, don't say in 2 weeks we're going to be open. And there's just so much pressure. And I'm telling them to just be cautious and be patient, because other states that we've been following have only been given 3 to 4 days notice that you can open,
That's a good point. And to what the mayor's point was that it might not be 2 weeks, it might be 3 weeks, but I will tell you this, it may be short notice that you're moving into phase 2. That may be, I would not get ahead of it though. So I would not open before phase 2 is announced that you're greenlit. I would listen to to your leader here, Willie Joe. I assume will help get that information out to everybody, as will the mayor and I in the control room. But you may only get a few days notice. We only had 4 days notice. We were opening for phase 1. I believe the governor here was here on a Monday, and we were opening that Friday, Thursday night at midnight. So just keep an eye to that. And that's also why you should start making your plans now. Everyone on this session, even though the guidelines aren't posted yet for barbershops and beauticians, make your plan now. You know what needs to be included: masking, sanitation, things like that. So start to have it so you can go quickly.
All right, iPad. It looked like Flash. I don't know if that's my brother Flash. Let me unmute you, my brother. Go ahead.
What's going on, man?
Peace, man.
Yeah, good. Hey, one of my questions is about the occupancy level in the store. I have 6 items. So they're telling me you can only have 10 people in what I'm hearing in other states. If everybody has 1 people, I'm already over the limit. How do I deal with that?
So that guideline has not been set yet. And I think that will be part of what the governor outlines. So remember when he started to close down businesses, they closed down, they said, you should reduce your workforce by 75%. You should reduce your workforce by 50%. You should reduce your workforce by 25%. And now everybody go home. So I think that you're going to have a situation like that happen where you will open your business and the occupancy will probably be less than what the regular occupancy would be. I would anticipate that it's not going to be full level occupancy just because, or unless you can maintain the social distancing, the 6 feet apart, all those other sanitary things that we talked about and keeping people safe. But I would anticipate that based on how we shut down, that we will probably not necessarily open up 100%. And, I think that what the county executive just said about being prepared. So there are certain things that you can do now. So looking at your shop to see how, like the seats and the separate, the distance between the seats for those people that are waiting, those people that are in a chair, the people that are renting booths from you, that's important. Making sure that you have the proper, equipment on hand to sanitize, to clean the place. What does that look like? And I think that part of that, developing that plan for your shop, is looking at all those things that that you may need to keep yourself safe. And one of the things that people, that as we start to look at numbers, and if numbers start to go up, and we've heard about this contact tracing. So for example, one of the things that could happen is if you're at barbershop X and somebody has contracted the virus and they start to do contact tracing and they see that the source is the shop, that plan that you developed becomes more and more valuable, because you would have to be able to say, like, hey, listen, here, this is what we did. This is what I laid out. This is, so we were very, very safe. These are the, we sanitized all the scissors, we sanitized all our clippers, after each person, with alcohol, whatever, rather that's, have bleach, have water, whatever it is, all those things I would recommend that you, in this phase right here, just prepare and be ready to, and have that plan on paper. And included in that is that sort of occupancy. How do I keep my shop going, but maintain that social distancing and that safety? And what does that look like? How many people can I safely have within my building under these conditions, so that we maintain the safety of our clients as well as ourselves? And I don't know if you want to add anything to that, County Executive. I think your audio is.
I would just say something, Madam Mayor. I think a couple of things I've been seeing, and it's not in stone, but in other states, they've been, guidelines have been 8 people for 1,000 square feet is what I've been hearing. And so I think there's going to be some type of square footage guideline potentially that maybe the governor may come out with. We don't know yet. Also, I would also offer for consideration for individuals out there. If you didn't have liability insurance before, now's the time to definitely get that, okay? Because I can see a lot of lawsuits potentially arising if they contact tracing and they find out that people have gotten sick from our particular businesses, and then God forbid somebody passes away, and you got wrongful death lawsuits and all of these kind of things going on. So we definitely going to want to be prepared, not only with a plan, but make sure that we're properly insured as well. We have June Williams has a question. I'm going to unmute you.
Hi.
Go ahead. Hi,
my question is, if the numbers start rising once we are able to open, will we be shut down again?
It's possible. We pray that it doesn't happen. But the county exec can talk a little bit more about that, since the Department of Health is underneath the county. But it definitely is possible, and I think that that's the reason why we're opening up, and the governor has us opening up the way that he does, so that we can sort of monitor, we can open, track, monitor what's happening on the ground in real time, and then make decisions based on that. But County Executive, you would know more about that from a health perspective.
Okay.
Adam, you're on mute. I'm sorry. Can you unmute him? He's on mute.
It's not on my end. Oh, wait a minute. There you go. You're unmuted on my end. I don't.
It must be. Is your computer? Oh. His I think something's going on with his audio. As everybody knows, Zoom sort of crashed yesterday, and I think that there's a challenge. But June, we can get you that information. I'll make sure I get it from him, and I'll text you. But my understanding is, yes, that there is a possibility that if the numbers start going in the opposite way, if our hospitals are starting to get overloaded, then they can push us back and shut us back down.
So the county executive is rejoining us now. He had to log off and log back in. We do have another. Andre Morrison has a question, sir. Andre?
Okay, there we go.
Nope, no, we don't.
Can you hear
Andre,
me?
yes, we
can. You hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me? Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make a statement and thank the UPBCA for coming together collectively as a group, and with safety concerns for our clients, customers in our city, and making sure that we discussed this, and we came out, and which resulted in a letter from our president, Mr. Willie Lightfoot, to the governor, which resulted in a mandatory shutdown for barbershops and salons in New York State. I just wanted to give the UPBCA a hand for that.
Thank you, my brother. We got Demarius again. Demarius, I'm gonna get you here, sir. All right, there you go.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Yeah, this is Joe Gentile. I'm using someone else's phone.
Oh, okay. Hey, Joe.
Yeah, I'm using my fiance's phone. Sorry, my phone doesn't work for this.
Hey,
But
you're here, brother.
the question that I have, or maybe more a comment, and it goes off of the phase 1 to phase 2. There's a lot of people that are under the influence that soon as the 14 days ends, that we will go into phase 2. And what I foresee is if say the government doesn't make this specific and let everybody know that there are going to be people that open up their businesses in phase 2 because they think they're able to. I mean, I watch the governor every day, and I watch the news, but a lot of people don't. Some people didn't know we were open in phase 1.
Right. Right.
So I foresee, I'm sorry, Mayor.
No, go ahead.
I foresee you having a problem with that because too many people aren't going to pay attention and they're going to think they could just open whenever they want.
All right. Well, I agree with you 100% that we have to make sure that we are very clear in giving people the information and educating people that may be in violation. So one of the things that, of course, comes up and that's come up even in phase 1, some people opened up their business in phase 1. And so we go in and we've said to them, look, you're not a business that is allowed to open in phase 1. We're sorry, you have to close down. As the county executive indicated, on some levels that becomes to code enforcement, on some it becomes, to local law enforcement or the AG's office or the Department of Health, depending on what type of business it is. We have been trying to be very clear as to what businesses are allowed to open in phase 1. We did produce a flyer at the City of Rochester indicating, and it's on our website, it's on our Facebook page, indicating what businesses were allowed to open up in phase 1, what businesses we heard was allowed to open up in phase 2. And we thought that they were going to allow, originally barbershops and beauticians were looking at opening up in phase 3 or phase 4, but the governor announced on Friday that they will be allowed to open up in phase 2. So, of course, we have to be very clear with providing information and trying to make sure that we educate. But the reason why we wanted to do this, and thankful to the UPBCA board for putting this together, is because we need to be able to talk directly to you, directly to the people that are affected by the changes that are going to be happening in our community. And the way that we can do that is through organizations like this and provide that information so that you have it. And we will continue to do this throughout the community, whether that's a business association or a block club, whatever way that we can get the information to you, we're going to try to do that. But the best way we can do that is by talking directly to those people and those businesses that would be affected. I know that that's something that the county executive has been focused on. I've been focused on, because we do know that everybody does not watch the news. They don't read the newspaper. So every stream, every social media stream, whatever that we can get the message out, we're trying to do that. We will continue to do that. I know the county executive is trying to get in now. I see his audio.
Yep, there he is.
His audio is not connecting. Something might be going on with the internet.
Yeah, well, he's loading up there. We're getting close towards the end. We have another question that is in. We have a couple more people that raised. We're going to take the last 2 questions here, and then we're going to have to let them go. I'm going to go back to. Let's go to Joe Mons. Joe Mons, I'm unmuting you, sir.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So the question is, for those that legitimately do not have access to the web, will there be repercussions for those individuals that legitimately don't receive the word as far as the green light? How will the word go out so that everyone knows that we actually can go back to work?
So as we said, every stream that we can possibly get information out to our public, we're doing that. So whether you're talking about on television, on the internet, paper, visiting different businesses. We have teams that are going out all the time that are talking to people, letting them know the information that we have available. And that's and part of the reason why we wanted to do this sort of program is because we want to make sure that the associations that, they may have phone numbers that they can call people and let them know. So any way that we can provide the information to the public, that's the way that we're going to provide it. And as I said earlier, you can call 311. There's also a hotline from the the county exec's office. I think I saw somebody from his office. I think that, hold on. What's her name? Oh, yes,
this
Candace
is Adam.
on
I'm back on.
Oh, okay, you're back on. So so you can call his office as well if you have any questions and to get information as it pertains to opening up, or if you're confused about anything.
100%. And you can call. I'm sorry. This is Adam. I apologize. I had some technical
We
difficulties.
gotta get you some green light, Adam. We gotta get you green light internet, man. You got that bootleg internet, man.
in 2.5 months of doing this has never happened to me before. so now I can't see you, but I can hear you on my phone. I would say this: we have a hotline 753-5555. That can be accessed if you have any questions about business opening, if you need resources to understand what the guidelines are. And again, they do post them clearly, but we're doing everything we can to publicize what these are. And again, when it comes to enforcement, that's why we always say education first, because we understand not everybody's going to get the word and the message, but we're working as hard as we can to get information out there.
Okay, Flash, you're gonna have our last question, my brother. I'm gonna turn it over to you. Let me get you unmuted, sir. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Hey, my last question is concerning liability. I do have liability insurance. Should someone get sick, is that gonna be held against us, or is it kind of?
Well, the mayor's a lawyer, so can you help us out with that?
I'm not even going there. I'm not going there. You're not getting me in the middle of that. I'm just going to say I think that the president of your organization was right. Anybody can be sued, rather they win or rather they lose. That depends on the case and the circumstances. Make sure that you have liability insurance. Make sure that you have a plan. You can show that you are as safe as possible, and that you've done everything according to the rules and regulations set forth by the CDC and the board. So, I would just say that that's the best thing that you can do to try to protect yourself, is to make sure you have insurance, to make sure that you have a plan, make sure that you are following that plan and have the proper PPE, and you can show how you have actually implemented those steps that have been outlined by the health department and the CDC and others that are involved in making the rules and regulations about opening up.
All right. Yes, Vice President.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that that's one of the great things about Amalgamata. Their insurance plans are a la carte, like you can add on. So I guess I'm pretty sure, Mr. Flash, that they can cover those areas that you're concerned about. Once you get involved with them. So.
And that may be another shop talk conversation that we have. We may get some lawyers, volunteer legal services. We may get some lawyers on the line 1 month and have a conversation about liability. What does that look like? What, things that we do to protect ourselves along with those plans and all of those things. So we'll make sure that we definitely try to make sure that information is available for our industry. I want to stop right here with our questions. We're gonna transition. We want to thank our county executive. We want to thank our mayor, everybody, for joining us on this evening taken out of their busy schedule and coming to address our industry. We know UPBCA, all of the people that are on the line are not necessarily UPBCA members, and we understand that, we know that, but UPBCA is all about providing and advocating and educating our industry. So we're going to continually to provide these opportunities for education and continue to provide these free opportunities for education and for information around our industry. It doesn't cost you a dime. And we've been doing this for years, and we're going to continue to do this work around our industry. So again, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Adam Bello, and you guys, I'll turn it over to you for your final words, and then we're going to transition over that you're not going to want to miss this free healthcare information. You notice that word tends to be familiar with our organization. You're not going to want to miss this information from these doctors from the U of R well. So I'm going to turn it over for final words from the county executive and the mayor. Mayor first this time.
Mayor.
Okay. I just really want to thank the organization for taking the time to put this together for us to be able to talk directly to those people that are in the performance enhancement industry and provide the information as we know it. We are all in this together. We're all working very, very hard to make sure that our community can come out better and stronger and more aligned with keeping our citizens as safe as possible. We're working in partnership, but we will definitely get the information to your organization, your president, so that you can push that out. We've heard you about the concerns that you have about people not social distancing and enforcement and other things, and we will always keep those under consideration as we go forward. We just ask that you continue to bear with us. As I said at the beginning of this is not something that we've ever been through before, but I can tell you that you have a community that's working from every level of government to be of assistance to you. If you have not taken advantage of the programs that we have available, our grants programs, please visit www.cityofrochester.gov or dial 311. We've given out over $600,000 to over 300 businesses to date, and we still have dollars that's available for that. You could utilize that to get the equipment that you need to open up safely. That's just from the city's perspective. The county and other levels of government have different programs as well, but we're here to help. We want to be of assistance, and so don't hesitate to reach out to us. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, we have teams in each of our governments that will be there to help you and assist you to get whatever information that you need in order to open up as safe as possible. Please stay safe and have a happy Memorial Day. And I will turn it over to the county exec. Thank you, Vice President Lightfoot, again, and President Lightfoot on here, and Vice President Davis
I got too many hats,
for
right?
your leadership as well.
Thank you, Mayor.
Great. And I want to just, again, add my thanks to the leadership here as well and the entire organization for the opportunity to speak directly with you tonight and answer your questions. And I also want to just thank you for your participation and cooperation in the efforts that we're all making, that the mayor and I are working together on and across the community to keep us safe and protected. And for following the advice of science and our health professionals. I just leave you with a couple thoughts. First is that the way we're going to get through this is the way we've gotten to where we are today, which is that we are going to listen to our health professionals. We're going to follow science, and if we all continue to participate and follow that advice, we're going to get through this. We're going to get it through this together. And we'll be able to go through these phased openings in as fast as we can, but we'll get through them as safe as we can. And we have to rely on each other to follow those rules and to take the necessary precautions, because we all want to open up, and we want to do so in a way that protects you, protects your coworkers, your colleagues, and also protects your clients as well. One final thought is that everyone who goes through, who has gone through this experience, as we all have, and we've all been going through it together over the last 2.5 months, everyone's had a different experience with this. Some people are losing their businesses, have lost their livelihood, are struggling to pay rent, struggling to pay mortgage, don't know how they're going to come out. Other people have come through. Some people, are homeschooling their children. Other people aren't. Some people are working from home and are getting through this just fine and just going a little stir crazy around the house. But we've all had a different experience. And so acknowledging that, and some people, I'll also say, and most people have known somebody who's been infected with the coronavirus. And we all know a lot of people who've lost loved ones to coronavirus as well. And so we all just need to be respectful of each other, be respectful out in the community, and then offer to help. And the way that we're going to get through this is to understand that there are people who are struggling more than others, and we need to reach out as neighbors, as citizens, and as members of the community to say, how can I help? How can I help you get through this? And by doing that, we'll get through it together. We'll be able to open up the economy, and we'll be stronger for it. So thank you all again very much. I appreciate this.
Well, I think I can speak for everyone to say that not only are we proud and lucky and fortunate to have a very smart governor, but we also have an amazing county executive and an amazing mayor. You guys have been doing a wonderful, tremendous job. I mean, really, we're so very fortunate to have you guys as our leaders. I mean, it's a testament to why we're opening up sooner than other regions is because of your hard work, your dedication, your tenacity, and your ability to be able to keep the community informed, as well as to be on the ground doing your jobs every day. So we say salute UPBCA, salute our industry, say salute to our governor, salute to our mayor, salute to our county executive. We're praying for you guys, and we're with you and we're behind you 100%. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
My
take
pleasure.
care. Stay
All right.
safe.
God bless.
All right. So we're transitioning. Galvin, the floor is yours, or whom you're gonna put up in front of us, brother.
Yes, thank you, Willie. I appreciate it. So we're going to start off with a little presentation. I'm going to share my.
Let me give you
can I share my screen.
Yep. Give me a second here. Okay, just give me 1 second. I want to see how I wasn't quite aware of that, but let me, okay. How about now?
Yeah, that works very well. So can everyone see this?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So I'm just going to start off with a little overview. So as I mentioned before, I, along with Valentina, Trisha, and Daniel, we are all first-year medical students at University of Rochester, and we are part of the leadership for a student-run clinic called UofR. This clinic has significant partnerships within the community, which we'll go into in a little bit. But our community outreach team was really put together in this past year to try to further our connections within the community and to promote the free and low-cost services that we have to offer. And in a previous presentation that Willie and other members of the UPBCA put on, I saw this presentation and was really impressed by the community connections that all of you have. And we are hoping that we can not only provide direct services to your community of barbers, but also to your larger communities. And so with that, I'll let Valentina take over.
All right, so thank you again for having us here and allowing us the opportunity to share this with you. So UofR is, as Gavin said, a student-run clinic. Our mission is to provide free and low-cost, high-quality care that fosters the health of our Rochester community and also promotes the spirit of education, social justice, and collaboration. And so they are teaching clinics, but the main purpose of the UofR clinics is really to promote the health of the Rochester community. So again, thank you. We have 3 clinics, and we'll go into where those are within the city. But who you would find at the UofR clinics are medical students, so like the 4 of us, from University of Rochester School of Medicine and Dentistry. They're social work students from Nazareth College. They're pharmacy students from St. John Fisher College. And then they're physicians. So all of these students that I mentioned are supervised by physicians, by pharmacists, by social worker. And that's for the purpose of being able to learn, but also ensuring that we're providing the best care possible. And so everyone that comes into the clinic is seen by, for example, the attending physician at that time. And those physicians are from Strong Memorial Hospital or Golisano Children's Hospital. And they have found it incredibly important to them to be able to volunteer in this way and to add these hours to their day, providing this care to the Rochester community in a different way than what they're able to do in the hospital setting or in their clinic settings, but also really value the experience that it provides to students who get to see patients in these clinics as well. So you can see that we have 3 clinics. They're called St. Luke's, Asbury, and St. Joe's because those are the names from our community partners that house the clinics. So St. Luke's Clinic is in the basement of St. Luke's Tabernacle Church. Asbury Clinic is in the basement of the Asbury First United Methodist Church. And then St. Joe's Clinic is within the St. Joseph's Neighborhood Clinic, which is a freestanding clinic on its own that has the same mission as UofR, but operates all day, every day of the year, and they're actually open right now.
So this is an overview slide of some of the main services that the clinics offer. And I want to point out some of the services that will be most applicable for you guys. So the work physicals can be completed at each of our locations, St. Joe's, St. Luke's, and Asbury. And then we also can do TB skin tests at the Asbury Clinic, and sometimes those are needed as part of the physical work exam. As you can see, St. Joe's is called a low-cost clinic. So by this, we just mean that there's a small fee associated with the visit. Health insurance is still not required, but there is a small sliding scale fee based on the patient's income and the services provided. This is different from St. Luke's and Asbury clinics, which are completely free and there's no fee associated. You can go to the next slide. Okay, so now we'll tell you about each of the clinics a little bit more in depth. First, I'll start with a little bit of history, and then I'll talk about some of the services that are offered. So for St. Joe's history, approximately 28 years ago, members of the congregation, the Sisters of St. Joseph, were working at the House of Hospitality, which is a soup kitchen right across the street on South Avenue. And they realized while working that a lot of their clients at the soup kitchen had various unmet needs, and these included health needs. So 5 of the founding mothers, on behalf of the Sister of St. Joe, purchased a dilapidated house on 417 South Avenue. And against the advice of many, they grabbed their tools of home renovators and began to create a medical home. And this created the integrated comprehensive patient center facility that exists today. They opened on December 8th in 1993 with 20 volunteers offering medical, counseling, adult education, spiritual guidance, and social services to any person without discrimination. And St. Joe's has grown into a neighborhood place that provides 3,000 patients and clients health care for a small fee and does not accept Medicaid, Medicare, or private insurance for reimbursement. Although many of the patients are from the surrounding area, St. Joe's serves patients and clients throughout the greater Rochester area. Donations and the energy of 500 volunteers, more than 100 of them licensed care practitioners, make the 3,000 visits possible each year. Students and faculty from the University of Rochester account for more than 200 of these volunteers that make the work done by St. Joe's possible. URWell at St. Joe's is actually the first URWell clinic partnership that was founded over 10 years ago. Together, UofR volunteers and the staff from St. Joe's provides holistic patient-centered care. So that was a little bit about the history and of the St. Joe's Clinic itself and our partnership with St. Joe's. Just a little bit more about it. It operates, URWell operates there on Tuesday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. and it's by appointment, and there's various specialty care provided on some of these nights, and these include neurology, ophthalmology, endocrinology, orthopedics, surgery, and physical medicine and rehab. And these are all offered once per week, once per month, and you can call the phone number to figure out which specialty care is on which Tuesday night of the month. Other services that are offered include health screenings for conditions like hypertension, diabetes. They also provide ongoing healthcare for chronic diseases, health education, and preventative medicine. And then they also have social work and can provide evaluations for eligibility for Medicaid.
All right, I'm going to talk just a little bit about Asbury and then St. Luke's. Like Tricia did, I'll give just a little bit of the history between the URL or the University of Rochester and these clinics. So for Asbury, the Asbury First United Methodist Church and the University of Rochester School of Medicine and Dentistry have been providing free access to urgent care, work physicals, and health maintenance to the Rochester community for 10 years. The clinic is run by volunteers, including church members, nurses, medical students, and physicians, and is dedicated to providing compassionate, professional, and quality care. We are excited to continue growing our clinic and serving uninsured and underinsured patients. Apart from what Tricia mentioned for St. Joe's, Asbury Clinic is a bit more focused on acute care. So they have the first Tuesday of every night set aside to do physicals. And then every Thursday night is dedicated to acute care patients, although anyone can come with their needs. Similarly, as you can see the bolded terms, Asbury is able to offer PPD testing for tuberculosis, which is often required for work physicals or along with work physicals, and can provide help with social work in getting access to health insurance or other things around the community. And then if you could switch to St. Luke's. The history behind St. Luke's, it is the most recent of the three clinics. So St. Luke's URL clinic was established in September 2014, and it is the third of the three URL clinics to open. It's located west of the river and north of Rochester proper. The location of St. Luke's helps to further expand access to care in the Rochester community. Uniquely, it is the first clinic to routinely provide translation for Spanish-speaking patients. The idea for expanding language access comes from Seth Tobolsky, who is a medical student who graduated from the URMC in 2017, who hoped to break down language barriers to help Rochester adults that were uninsured. He writes, despite the Affordable Care Act, we are still seeing a significant number of Rochester area adults who are uninsured or underinsured. We suspect we will reach even more when language is no longer a barrier for some of them. The University of Rochester School of Medicine and Dentistry has worked closely with Reverend James H. Evans Jr., the pastor of St. Luke's, to provide basic care and resources to uninsured and underinsured Rochester community members since 2014. Along with the physical exams and social work that are available at the other clinics, as I mentioned, St. Luke's is specifically able to provide Spanish-speaking care, as well as being able to see pediatric patients. And I forgot to mention that Asbury is unable to see children. And then the last thing that I wanted to mention is that St. Luke's is open on Wednesdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And similar to Asbury, appointments are first come, first served.
Sorry about that. We're also still very much learning about Zoom, but if you want to learn more about our organization, we have a website, urwell.org. We have an email, which is up there, urwell at ursmd for School of Medicine and Dentistry at gmail.com. And if you're interested in getting more information, currently our clinics are closed due to COVID, but we are hoping to open up later this summer. And so if you're interested in getting more information or being made aware when the clinics do open up, send us an email and we can get back to you at that time. You also can call the clinics and leave a message, although the only one to be able to contact right now is St. Joe's. They are still operating at a limited capacity. Lastly, we are on Facebook, and if you want to know more about our organization, that's a great way to stay connected with us. And then I guess the last thing we'll leave with is we are trying to break into some communities in Rochester and offer our services to people who might benefit from it. And we are hoping that in addition to directly helping the U.P.B.C.A. with work physicals, that we can also count on you to help spread our message and to help get care to people who need it. So this is something that we're going to continue to work with Willie on, and hopefully we will have more contact with you in the future. And with that, thank you, and we'll take any questions.
Okay, so yeah, awesome. Great job. Does anybody have any questions for our U of R medical students? Okay, basically, all right, well, that's good. That means the presentation was very informative and it answered all the questions.
Can I add something? Sorry.
Absolutely, sure.
Thank you. I just want to bring up the point that we had talked about when we first met with you, which was that we know that as your clinics are opening up again, sorry, not your clinics, we have the clinics, as your barbershops and other places are opening again, you're going to be bringing back your personnel, and with that, your employees might need to have their work physicals redone or something like that. And we're hoping that you can direct everyone that you need to our clinics, because we do them completely for free, and we're so happy to do them. They're effective. They're completely, they fulfill every requirement by employers that are needed, and they're widely used already. But we just want more people to come in because we think that what we have to offer is so great, and is so needed that we need more numbers.
Well, this is very helpful because one of the things we know as being a barber examiner is one of the requirements for barbers, I believe it's the same for cosmetologists as well too, to get your New York State license, you have to have a physical. And so with that being said, we know that oftentimes a lot of people don't have a healthcare provider or, or those type of things. I want to ask, actually, I'm going to put up a poll here real quickly and see, can you guys, let me know if you can see this. Can you guys see that poll? All right, I need you to answer those questions for me, please. I'm gonna give you a few minutes. There are, it's 3 questions on this particular poll. Okay. I'll just look at heads. If I see your head shaking, I'll know that you're finished. Everybody that you answered them. Okay, we got 2 out of 17. So there's many more of you. 4 out of 17. Okay, you're rolling now. 5 out of 17. 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, you're not going to be able to answer. I just realized, Wade, because you're a co-host. That's what I just remembered.
Yep, I noticed that.
Yeah, because remember he told us because we're co-hosting. All right, so we got 13. So I'm gonna end this particular one here, and I'm gonna show you these results. Okay. Share results. All right, so we have what 15% said that they are members. What does interest you in UPBC organization? 54% says community service work that we do. That's evident about how many folks we have here today. And then we have, how did you find out about UPBCA? 54% said word of mouth. So, you know, that's good. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing this one. I have another one I'm going to share with you. It's 3 polls, and then I'm going to relaunch this one now. Can you guys see that?
Or is this something that we can do effectively using our AV?
Are you
Or
guys?
do you want us medical students also to be filling this out?
Yeah, I want to fill that out because we want to try to capture as much information as we can. It would be helpful.
Absolutely.
So far, that's another 4 questions in this particular one. All right, you got 1 so far.
That's going to be up to them. I think it's going to be up to the family how they feel about it.
All right, we got 6. You roll, y'all rolling now. 7, 8. Let's go. 9. All right, 10.
What options do they have? You know, this wasn't anything that we were even floating.
All right, 11. I think we had 12 or 13 last time. We have 19 people on the call. Okay, just for the sake of time, is anybody? Oh, there's 12. I'll give you just a few more seconds here.
Well, I would definitely think
That's 70% of the folks there. That's 13.
personally.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna end this poll now, and we're gonna share those results with you. These results were what reopening phase should look like for barbers. Most of you guys said phase 2. That's good because that's what we're looking at. What is your greatest concern about reopening? The number one, 92% said overall safety of all. What impacted you the most during the shutdown? Finances. All right, overwhelmingly. What assistance? Oh, also other was another one. I'd love to hear some of what those things are. What assistance do you need most before you reopen? And looks like we have financial assistance and how to pivot business model. Okay, that's good. That's good. It's very helpful information. Okay, we got one more last poll here, and then we're gonna wrap up. Poll number 3 is for our healthcare folks, and there we are. There are 4 questions on this poll as well.
See via social media. I think some people would choose this option. It's worked for us either way.
All right, we're rolling along. Got 6, 7. 9. We averaging about 13, so I'll wait a little while longer for about 3 more of you. Couple more. I want to at least get to 70% before I stop. At least one more person. There we go. There's our 12. All right, 13. There we go. I'm going to end the poll here. Oh, that's 14, 15. All right. Awesome. Nice job, everybody. Share the results. Okay. Do you have health care? 100% said they did. Awesome. That's good stuff. Okay, but maybe your family, friends, others that you know, people that are working for you may not. Do you have a primary health care provider? 93% said yes. We had 1% that said no. So we definitely want to reach out to these individuals. They may be able to help you find a primary health care provider. When is the last time you had a full health physical? 40% said a year ago. 53% said less than a year ago. Nobody said never. And we had somebody who needs one. So we're excited because we got somebody who actually needs this service like right now. So, so make sure you connect with us so we can connect you to that information so you can get that free physical. Would you be interested in a free health physical? 53% said yes. 27% said no, and we had one that said 3 that said maybe. All right, I'm going to stop sharing these results. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to do this. And I'm going to bring you back in, Wade, because I was hearing some background noise when I had you before, brother. But I'm going to bring you in. I'm going to unmute all of our UPBCA members that I see here with us today, that I can see. And I want everyone to say thank you. And we're wrapping up now, ladies and gentlemen. This video will be available on our Facebook page. It is also on our YouTube page. We're also going to, any questions that were outstanding that may have been in the chat, we're going to look those over and we're going to make sure that we answer any questions that we were not able to reach. If I'm able to, and if U of R allow me to, we will share their presentation on our website as well. That will have their contact information on it, so you'll be able to engage with them or share with friends, family, workers, and or customers or clients. So we want you to be able to share this information because you may have it, but your clients may need this information. Your clients may need healthcare. You know, we service a lot of people. So we want to get this information out there to everyone so that people can understand what's available out there in our community. Okay. I want to thank Valentina. I want to thank Daniel and Galvin for the great presentation that you guys have done. We really appreciate you guys and all the work that you're doing. First of all, you guys being first-year medical students in our community is a great feat. We wish you nothing but the best. We're so proud of you to be in our community practicing medicine and also having a heart for the community and wanting to help people other than yourselves. So we really appreciate you guys. And Tricia, we appreciate you as well. And we just want to say we salute you guys and we thank you for all the work that you're doing and everything that you're doing in our community. And we look forward to a long-lasting partnership with U of R Well. Does any of our other members, Erica, Andre, does anybody else have any words? I'm going to unmute everybody so everybody can talk at the end here. Does anybody else have any? Sandra?
Just want to say thanks everybody for being a part of it. I'm so glad that we had a good response today.
Yeah, I also want to give a big shout out to each and every one of you that came on here. This was a success just because you was here. And I'm hoping that it was very informative for you. Listen, I just want to remind you, go to UPBCA.org and check out our website and check out our Instagram page and be informed. You know, let's get informed, let's get involved. Come and be a part of the solution to many of the problems that we're going to be facing as professionals. Thank you again.
Yeah, definitely go and subscribe at our website, UPBCA.org, and hit subscribe, and you can put your email in there and you can get updated with all of our, you don't have to pay for that. That's free. You can subscribe, you can get all of our updates, our emails, different things that we're doing. This particular Shop Talk with UPBCA will be happening every third Monday of the month. And so we want to make sure that everybody is understanding that we're going to be continuing these conversations and we want you to be a part of these conversations with us, okay? So make sure that you log in, sign up, and again, our membership is less than $100 a year. Is $100 a year, less than $10 for a haircut, and for one haircut a month. And so we think that that's reasonable considering all of the benefits that we're offering. And we're hoping as we grow larger that we can begin to offer more benefits to our community as well. So again, we're so excited to have had you tonight. And does anybody else have any other words before we part this evening?
To the medical students, congratulations, best of luck in your future endeavors. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for your message, and thank you for having us on.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Team. Good job, team. As a whole.
All right. Blessings, peace and blessings to everybody. We're praying for everybody to have good health. We're going to get back. We're going to be stronger when we come out of this. We're going to be ready and prepared. That's what this is all about, us getting ready and prepared for phase 2. When we come out of this, we're going to be better. We're going to be stronger, and we're going to provide excellent service to our clients. So everybody stay healthy. God bless you. Love, peace, and hair grease.
All right, we're going to unmute everybody, Willie. Let them say hello.
All right. Everyone have a good
All right. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Send me the link to the recording.
All right, Steve.